Welcome to the Northern Nist Podcast. This is episode 168.
7.
Dang.
So
Total
close.
guess, you guys. Total guess. I didn't actually ask this week. I usually ask just before we start recording. I'm Jocelyn. I currently call Winnipeg, Manitoba home. My co-host.
Co-host is Diana. I call Waterloo home.
Still misses her prompt, but that's okay. We're two friends in Fiverr who enjoy crafting and sharing our nerdy adventures with everyone. I don't know. Guys, I'm sleep deprived. I have no makeup on today. It's just a thing. On Instagram, I've taken to occasionally posting live video chats in like 3 a.m. my time local or like 1 a.m. my time local when I can't sleep because I hurt too bad to sleep. So I was up last night most of the night and the night before most of the night because of pain. So no makeup today because my face is finally not swollen and I don't want to touch it more than necessary.
It's rough.
I'm not having a good time of it. I get to eat lots of tofu scramble. I like tofu scramble.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst. There are worse things in life that I would have to eat. Thankfully, I don't have any crunchy veggies right now. I just have all cooked veggies in the fridge, so they're all soft and mushy. I didn't make any plans for like crunchy carrots or cauliflower with like dressing or anything this week because that would not be happening.
No.
Not happening. My face hurts quite bad. So that's a thing. But we've got Diana on a non-CG background this week.
Yeah, this is a real-life office behind me.
It works.
Some lovely, various, Chris's books. Except for these binders here. Some of these binders are mine. But otherwise.
Chris's books?
Yep.
Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. We have another week under our belt. I think this is, what was the radio saying? 12 weeks since most of our country went in quarantine, so we've officially been doing lockdown stuff for 3 months now.
Gosh, has it been that long?
Yep.
Huh. I mean, it's started to feel normal now, so like...
Yep, that's about right. 30 days for a new habit, 90 days for it to just be the norm.
Yeah, you're right. Wow, yeah. Well, yep.
It doesn't actually take that long to reprogram us, so...
Right on schedule then, yeah.
We're right on schedule. I want a magic game this week, so like I'm gonna lose at everything else. So that's it. That's all I got, guys. All of my grocery items were big items this week except for like 5 things. So my brother-in-law said he'll just get everything for me this week, so I just gave him money to do that. He gets the heavy stuff for me like potatoes or like the awkward size things like toilet paper and Kleenexes because it's hard to have those, carry it home, have groceries, and use a cane. I got one hand when I leave the house. One. One is always in use.
Maybe you need one of those like overnight backwoods camping backpacks that you can fit like 80 pounds of stuff in.
I am upgrading. I've got a really good serious backpack I got from the MEC, which is the Mountain something company?
Mountain Equipment Co-op.
Thank you. That they have a really big store downtown here in the city, and my ex-boyfriend, not Mr. B, the one before, loved that store. He loved camping and stuff, but he wanted me to get a proper backpack, and I've always had problems because a lot of backpacks are designed for men. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Not the end of the world. It just means that the collarbone rest thing sits lower. So I've always had that strap on the girls, which I find terribly uncomfortable, so I never used it.
It is.
Weight. So that offended Copen a lot. I mean, to tell you how good of friends we are, remember how I said there was that couple that were having their first baby at the beginning of the year that I made that blanket and crocheted cardigan for? It's Copen and his wife. So we went and we found one that had, the straps were mesh lined so that I wouldn't get hot and sweaty wearing it in the summer because that's gross too. Nobody wants to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it had an adjustable collar strap so I could pull it up or down.
Nice.
So I can have it sit where it's supposed to. And I really like that adjustable, but I bought a small one because I didn't need a lot of literage or anything. It's like most I'd be doing was day hikes. And I used it primarily for university. So it was perfect size to lug a laptop, a couple of textbooks, some of my stuff with me, right?
Yeah.
I still had an extra bag, but it carried my lunch, my coffee thingy, travel mug. Like, it carried other stuff. So that was fine. Or spare books, depending on how many books I had going on at the time. There were some weeks where I was carting 20 books on and off campus on a weekly basis some weeks.
Ugh, gross.
What happens when you get a history degree? It's nothing but books, people. Nothing but books. They're all reasonable sized books. There's just a plethora of them.
I like my tech degree. After second year, there were no books because at that point, it's like just Google it, because like anything that you need to know, you're better off Googling it, because anything in a book is out of date by the time you get the book.
Yeah, mine was history, so you needed everything from books. Facts don't change that fast.
Typically not. One would hope that historical facts do not change that fast.
That would be scary.
One hopes. Should we talk about what's in our cup this week?
Sure, I'm about halfway done drinking mine.
Yeah, same. We talk too much.
We talk too much. I'm just having some vanilla Earl Grey from Tetley. It is my favorite way of having Earl Grey. It is my favorite Earl Grey. Not sure how to phrase that. It's the Earl Grey I prefer.
Fair enough.
Vanilla balances out that bergamot.
It is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I drank a lot of, I don't remember which brand of Earl Grey. It was either Tetley or Twinings, that other one.
Twinings?
One of them, you can just chuck the tea bag in the hot water and it never gets bitter. You can leave it in there for hours. You can steep it twice. Like, I drank so much of it in university for that reason, because I had yet to discover the wonders of coffee.
Coffee.
I had yet to have a good cup of coffee in university. I made it all the way through university powered solely on Earl Grey tea.
I mean, and that's impressive. I went, because I like sweet things, I started with half coffee, half hot chocolate mix. So
I did get the occasional ice cap when it was warm out, because there were Tim Hortons everywhere.
I don't like Tim Hortons coffee.
They were very, very sweet, so it was like,
oh yeah,
when I needed to be on.
Yeah, too sweet. They had in the bottom of in the building attached to the Defoe Library, where all the humanities students were. There's like a Dunkin' Donuts or a Robin's Donuts on the main level in there.
Mm-hmm.
I got their coffee and their hot chocolate mix, and I got a large cup, and I filled it approximately halfway with hot chocolate, sometimes more depending on how much sugar I felt I needed before the caffeine kicked in, and then I just poured coffee in the rest of the cup.
Yeah, I was very rarely over there, so I was always surrounded by Tim Hortons.
I lived in that building.
Yeah,
or
engineering for me.
St. John's College.
Was that one had a pretty good cafeteria in the bottom, didn't it?
They had a little cafeteria that had the most great French fries.
Was that the Daily Bread?
I think,
or was that the other one?
I think that's the other one. Well, there's also it also had a cafe on the main floor. So like the cafe on the main floor is where you got your London fogs, because holy mother, they had some intense London fogs and they were amazing. But the cafeteria in the basement made the best burgers and fries. Like, just straight up, we took hamburger and made it into a patty shape and fried it for you on a grill and put a piece of cheese on top.
Apparently I was missing out.
And when you ordered a plate of fries, it was a plate of fries. So I ate there a lot.
Clearly I missed out on that.
Yeah. No, that was an amazing place to go eat and study and stuff. So that, or the buildings, the big long series of buildings that had the Elizabeth Defoe Library on that building at the end. I lived in the old buildings. That's where I lived with my history degree.
I lived in the computer science students lounge on the 5th floor of
I never went into that building.
Yeah, no, I lived in that building. That's where I lived, was that building.
Never went into it. Classics had its own kind of building. I was in there a fair bit too, but never went into the E1 or E2 buildings. I wasn't an engineer or in IT work, so I didn't do any of the computer science stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense. We're talking about stuff in our cups. Wow.
We got derailed with nostalgia for our old alma mater because we both graduated from the same university.
That was an intense derailment. Wow, okay, dragging it back. I'm drinking Scottish breakfast tea, which it's not the lapsang based one that smells like a blacksmith.
Good, because that one is really stinky.
I do like that one, but no, this is the Cornelia bean Scottish breakfast, so it's just a nice robust breakfast tea. Got a little bit of milk and sugar in there. It's just like a good standard cup of tea.
Nice.
I
I
sort of
have
rediscovered tea and so much tea this weekend.
a little bit of Canadian breakfast left and a little bit of Moody Manitoban tea left.
Those are the ones from 360.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
It's the last of those teas, so I feel like I'm gonna make myself some cups of really good tea this week and call it done. Again, I'm trying to bring the tea collection down to a reasonable volume, not crazy lady level volume. So I will only have a selection of 15 teas, not 36.
Yeah, ours has gotten kind of out of hand as well. Everybody went, "Oh, you're leaving, we should get you something, but we don't want to get you anything that's like large." And so like everybody got us tea, so we have like 500 more grams of tea. And it's like, okay, but this still takes up space. No, we're drinking our way through it pretty quick.
I gave you an octopus for a traveling companion.
And it's great. The octopus still lives in my car.
Well, it's where you're supposed to live. That's its purpose.
I like my little octopus.
I know I found a stuffed snowman floating around upstairs the other day, so I guess Isabella likes her snowman. I got her too. I made her too. So I know the one I gave to my mom is still out, so that's fine. I'm not worried about it. I still have leftover white yarn. I feel like I should make a snowman for myself.
Yeah. Maybe.
Someday.
Can make a little ghost.
I could
Halloween.
make a little ghost. I have so many Halloween patterns, and I need so many more. I need to find all the Halloween patterns. Come August, that's all I'm going to be crafting is Halloween stuff. I already have 6 totes of Halloween stuff. I need more.
You're just gonna have the cutest handmade Halloween.
It's going to be Halloween, handmade Halloween everywhere. Shall we talk knitting?
Yeah, let's maybe actually talk knitting.
Guys, this is what happens when we start talking. We usually do all this preamble talk before we start recording, so it's not quite so discombobulated anymore. Not this week.
Well, I mean, we always talked before, but yeah, just keep talking. We just keep talking and talking.
Keep talking. All right.
One long, incredibly unbroken sentence moving from topic to topic.
You can't
so
do
that
it.
No one could interrupt. It was really quite hypnotic.
You can't. You suck in oxygen too much. You don't spit out words quick enough. I suppose I've got like 4 times as much as you do.
Right, so. But I have a sewing segment, so.
I'm sewing today. Okay, now to be specific, I sat down to do some sewing, and I put the machine thread in wrong, so it made that stupid little bird's nest underneath. And I got really irritated after I picked that all out, and I didn't bother to restart the machine. So it's not like I couldn't have had a sewing section. That's the one thing that drives me nuts. And when that happens, I gotta walk away because I get so mad.
I understand.
I get so mad. The bonus to not being able to sleep ever again, it feels like, is I'm done a pair of socks. So I've got 2.
Ooh.
2 socks. 2 socks.
Nice.
So the
stripes even line up?
The stripes even mostly line up.
Wow. Like actual matching striped socks.
Yep.
Those look so good.
Yep. So I am terribly happy. I did, the first sock took 3 months. The second sock took roughly 4 days.
Sure, because that makes sense.
So we know I can knit socks fast, I just choose not to. So the last time with feeling, this is the Sally colorway from the Knit Picks Felici yarn line. The contrast heel is done in some beautiful light gray regia that I got for my birthday from Diana. It is toe up socks. These ones I made at a stitch count of 68. Should make them a bit bigger because I like to injure my foot a lot. We have this beautiful, I like because I don't bother or worry too much about the laddering effect you get on Magic Loop. It just looks like a seam detail to me. So that's going on with both of my socks. I still have to weave in my ends and sew up my little holes in the corners of my heels.
Mm-hmm.
That's all minor stuff. So these guys are done. They will get their ends and stuff woven in probably the next day or two, and then they will go into the sock drawer for fall time, because right now is not sock wearing season. It's in fact not sock wearing season. So those are done. Super excited about that. I get to use the fancy blockers Diana bought me. I still love how they arrived to my house.
Well, how do you wrap those? Come on.
Best wrapped Christmas present ever.
I was not going to mess around with trying to actually wrap them in paper, so I just tied them with a nice little bow.
That would have been hilarious. So I finally, in the process of cleaning my house up, found the orange that belongs to the heel and toe of my Jack sock, which is a sock colorway by Sew Into Knitting. So here's the first sock that I did. You can see orange toe, orange heel. This beautiful black with gray orange kind of melt. It looks like stained glass stripes. So you get little black micro stripes, and then you get little thicker stripes of what really looks like muted stained glass to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
So try to hold that up so it's better for everybody. So this one is done. It's been completed for a while. I put the leftover orange ball somewhere safe, so we know what happens as soon as I say those words.
So where was the safe place this time?
Literally on the fireplace, in with all my other fingering weight ends, so I wouldn't lose it in the glass jar where I display them.
Right. And it's been missing for how long?
Oh, several months now. Because I started the Sally socks because I couldn't find the orange ball. Yep. Hey, found the orange ball. Cool
This is
beans.
me shaking my head at you.
Now, so that I wouldn't lose the giant ball or misplace it, I shoved this ball in the completed sock so I could find it when I found the orange ball again. So I knew where that one was, because it was a sock with this huge honking. It looked like a boa constrictor had swallowed like 2 rats at once, so it was like 3 times its normal size. It's actually like, what in the world? I haven't made it very far, but I am in the process of making my toe. So I've got my toe going on. So the toe has been made, mostly. I think I got like 2 more rounds of increases to do. So I started this at 3 a.m. Friday morning. Thursday morning, whatever 3 a.m. Thursday, Friday is for you. So we'll see how long it takes me to do that. But it lives in my Erin Lane bag, as my socks do. I'm doing them on my Chowgu needles, which are 2.25 millimeter red lace Chowgu needles. And this will be my last ribbed cuff, because I'm really hating the ribbed cuff. I'm going to try a turned hem, like a folded hem cuff on the next pair of socks, and see if I like it better. Because if I like it better, I will just do a folded cuff hem.
Okay.
I love the garter heel. I'm super happy I started doing that, and will continue to do that. So that's what's going on in Sockland. I guess I got to keep going.
Probably. I've only got the one project.
Okay. For fun, I couldn't help myself. I had to cast on something new. Diana's been talking about crocheting and enjoying it, so I had to cast on something that's crochet.
Of course.
Of course. I was scrolling through using the Ravelry features of, I have this much of this yarn, what can I do with it? As I do.
I do love that feature.
2 skeins of DK weight acrylic. This is a Lion Brand mandala in the Spirit colorway. I had 2 of them. I was like, what can I do with 2 of them? And Ravelry went, hey, you can make this cardigan. It's called the Summer Nights cardigan. And I went, yes, I can. So This is the back for the Summer Nights cardigan. You can see there's a color fade going on here. So here's the back piece.
Love that.
So the back piece is all complete. It's got some beautiful mesh sections. It's got some standard double crochet. This is simple crochet. mesh lace. It's really easy.
I like that a lot.
It's the eyelet lace version of crochet is what it is. Because it makes the same look as eyelet lace and knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the back is done and washed and blocked and dried. And now I'm doing the front panels, which take a touch more thought because I've got color variegations going on. Strangely enough, I want the front and back to kind of match because I'm sewing it up. So here is one of my first front panels. I've gone through the light blue, the dark blue, and I'm just about ready to finish this back section up. And then I will pick up and finish the other front section. So I should be done my front panels here. I've got some extra ends to weave in and stuff. Ended today, tomorrow. And then I just got sleeves left to do and a collar. So I'll do my collar and ribbing first because my yardage is, it's a touch tight. So I'm going to do my collar, my border hem on the bottom, and then I'll just do the sleeves because it's a summer cardigan. If I can only get down to my elbows, then whatever.
Big deal, yeah.
No big deal. But if I can get all the way down to the wrist, bonus. So that's what I'm going to do with that one. So in theory, that'll be done next week. I was hoping to get it done this week, but I fell down a Netflix hole and started watching stuff that I couldn't just craft and watch. I had to just watch it and cry every episode because heartwarming.
Sure. I'm conveniently at the end of a row and a color change, so I'm unattached to yarn at the moment.
Beautiful.
All right. So I am still working on the Lighthouse Shawl by, just fell right out of my head, Not So Cute Designs.
Not so cute. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of Midnight Cravings yarn. So I am at the, it just does sort of a stripe, it does sort of a fade-like striping pattern, but of course the colors are totally different, so it doesn't fade at all. So it's just an interesting striping pattern to change colors. So I'm coming to the end of this gorgeous red sangria color, which is it just looks so good in person and on camera. Like some yarn colors really don't translate on camera, but this one really does, and it just looks so good. Just can't get over it. And then you can see my one little stripe of canasta. I'm about to do 2 more rows of it. Yeah, so much of that so far. But the canasta is a white base with the red speckles, same as the red that's already in it, and then it's got some blue speckles that'll match with the gray that is not in this room right now. But you know, you saw the gray last week.
Smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors. You'll see the gray again next week. You saw the gray last week. You can not look at the gray this week. It's fine.
Settle in, guys. She's only working on one project. I feel like we're going to be talking about this for June.
Honestly, I'm super tempted to cast on like 8 other things right now. So we'll see. We'll see.
I'm not going to help you any with that temptation problem. I'm about to add to it.
So one thing I was just noticing when I laid this out flat is a problem that I personally frequently have with crochet is that on the edges, I don't always get that edge stitch, and so I tend to lose stitches on the edge. And so if I can kind of hang this so that it looks, so that the center is straight. Let's see, yeah, the center is straight, and you can kind of see that I've got a little swoop going along the top where it's supposed to be straight.
Yeah, I mean, I can see.
So it bothers me only a little bit, and that little bit is not enough to rip it back and do it again. Plus, like if I pull on it just the slightest bit, I'm like 90% sure this will 90% block out. So it just doesn't bother me that much. It just bothers me a tiny little bit. And honestly, when you're wearing it, you're not gonna see it at all.
Yeah, no, people aren't going to be able to tell once you've got it on.
Yeah, so it only bothers me a little bit, and it's not enough to rip it back. So yeah, minor fiber flub, but you know what? I don't care. I am still really enjoying this and highly recommend this pattern if you want a nice simple crochet pattern, and also highly recommend this yarn because oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's so squishy. So squishy.
On the bright side, with the socks done, I'm finished my first thing for Stash Dash.
Ooh.
And it's almost 400 meters.
Nice.
Because it's a full pair of socks. So And I think I'm 10 grams under a full skein of fingering weight yarn for a pair of socks. Got big feet. If I do shorties, then I'm talking more like 60 grams, 50-ish if I use contrast heels and toes. So I got some random mathing to do for that. So I got some projects that I know I won't finish. So I've been frogging things, ripping things out. Maybe I should make that an Instagram live video too.
Just ripping things out.
Ripping things out and chatting.
Yeah.
I need a pithy name for that section though. So I've got a different story thing to put it into. Because I have late night knitting, where it's LAT, late night knitting. There's no E on the end of late.
Right.
No reason. I just didn't put the E in and it didn't autocorrect.
You could do 4 a.m. frogging.
Except I'm not guaranteed to be frogging at 4 a.m.
Could be 4 p.m. frogging. I don't know. Tea time frogging?
Tea time frogging. Tea break.
Huh.
All right. I've continued work on my aunt's blanket of doom. For long-time listeners and watchers will know that I am making a blanket for my aunt, and the blanket is made out of 2.5-inch granny squares done on a worsted weight acrylic on a 5 millimeter hook. I finished the last of the Caribbean blue that I had, so it was 27 squares. I just threw them in the bag. I've not woven in the ends for these yet, so I'm going to do that because then I can put them in their official bags. So I've started working on the last of the dark blue, like this kind of royal blue. I think this is royal blue. I'm guessing.
It is a very blue.
I discovered this, yeah, it's a royal blue. I discovered this weekend that the magnifying glass that I bought ages ago is only a 2x magnification, 3x magnification, and I need like a 5 or 6x now. So I gave it to my sister because she's at that 3x stage. So I gotta buy a new magnifying glass. For the record, there's $40 I gotta go spend.
I had no idea they were so expensive.
They're quite expensive if you get past the ones you can buy at the bookstore, which are only two times magnification. So the blanket is being made out of entirely burnout premium wool because it's soft when it starts, it's soft after it's washed, and it holds up really well to a good wash rinse cycle. How do I know? Because I have a blanket out of burnout premium my cat sleeps on all the time, so I wash it every week. This is just full of cat hair. The blanket lives in a super smexy Safeway bag.
Nice.
Nice. I needed something big. I don't have a ton of big project bags. I don't have blanket-sized project bags for the most part, you guys. It's just not a thing I've got. So all of the light blue are entirely done and the ends are woven in. They live in painted Ziploc baggies because I got to keep this stuff organized somehow. I got the first skein of the dark blue done and the ends woven in, and they're in a Ziploc baggie. I've got the
woven in and everything. I am impressed. That is organization.
First skein of Caribbean blue is squared. The second skein of Caribbean blue needs to be squared, put into squares, and then those ends need to be woven in. And then I'm ready to start my last 3 shades of blue. So it's a good thing that my next week shopping trip takes me to Walmart on rotation, because then I'm going to go see if they've got any in stock. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Crafting supplies are hit and miss in a lot of places. Thankfully, mine's a smaller Walmart, so I might get lucky. So I'm going to take a square of each of the blue shades I have, find 3 more blue shades, and then get the bulk of this done, hopefully in the next month and a bit. Because if I can get this finished by the 22nd of August, when Stash Dash is done,
that'd be so much.
A ton of kilometers. Crap ton. So I'm working on the second skein of my royal blue now. Because, projects. But I mean, since we started recording, I've done 3, so. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is that I watch podcasts. That's a shocker. I was watching the Stranded Dye Works podcast because I absolutely adore it, and watch episode 167 because she's rewritten the lyrics for Dashing Through the Snow, and she has made it a Stash Dash song.
I've been instructed that I must watch this, so I'm going to be doing that after we're done recording.
It's right at the beginning, like she starts the podcast off singing it to you guys. Holy Hannah, I was so delighted. She can sing. She's got a nice voice. I have a voice meant for showers, and I got a face for radio. Like, it is what it is, and it's fine. It's my voice. I will not make you guys listen to me sing. It's not a good idea. She's going to do a marled along because she's loving making marled things. And you know I cannot resist a good random join a knit along.
Mm-hmm.
You know I can't resist. Especially when it's going to let me use up scraps, which, hello, stash dash, we're trying to use up scraps, people. Trying to use up scraps. So I pulled out a bunch of my fingering weight scraps. These are skeins that were going to be other projects that didn't work out, and I lost just a touch of yardage on them, so they're not full skeins anymore. I think this one was supposed to be a sock. I gotta know if I can make socks out of this stuff. So I've got purples and blues and grays and browns and whites and a white with green speckle in it. Hang on, there's no more. These are not all of my just random fingering weight skeins I don't have full skeins of anymore. Like there's Sea Anemone Wall number 2 or 1, I think it's 2. And then I don't remember what this one was called, but I've got a few more skeins like this where it's just random variegated skeins that I don't have complete anymore. And I've been putting them in the super sexy Harvey's bag. Is that a Harvey's logo?
There's no logo on that side.
It's the set I'm looking at. It's got the logo.
Could be.
Got a burger on it. Anyway, it's one of those canvas swag bag things. I think I got this while I did that talk with you.
Oh, that'll be a skip bag then.
Is it a skip bag? Must be. Yeah, because it was skip the dishes that did the swag bags for that. So
yeah,
went and did a talk at a tech conference for you.
Yeah,
I was your sample talk to a blind person.
I think it was good.
That was fun. That was very fun. So I've been putting them in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up a worsted weight pattern because I'm going to hold the fingering double for the marled look. And I'm going to make a marled worsted weight cardigan, and then I'm just going to make the collar, the cuffs, and the bottom hem in a solid color to pull all the marled together. So the question is, what kind of pattern should I be looking for? Should I be doing a crochet? Should I be doing a knitting? I mean, obviously simple, basic, clean lines because it's already going to be so patterned with the marling. I don't need to do anything with fancy stitches or anything.
Yeah.
Because that'll be counterproductive. I'm obviously on a crochet kick, so I'm kind of thinking maybe crochet.
Goodness. It's like 80 sirens out there.
All the time. The joy with the crochet is because I would use more yardage. It would eat through my scraps better. So like maybe the boyfriend cardigan, crochet cardigan, or the simple everyday cardigan.
Yeah.
I think those might be my best bets. I even pulled up the photo so I could show Diana. Because I love sharing stuff from my phone online. It looks so good. But that's the My Boyfriend cardigan.
Oh, okay. I like that.
It's a worsted or bulky, no worsted. And then there's the slouchy crochet cardigan. So I'm thinking like maybe slouchy-ish.
Yeah, I think those would be good.
A lot of drape going on with the patterns I picked. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the idea of doing like one of the ones from that designer you showed me this week.
Yes.
Who's local to us, but her stuff isn't really held double, and she's got some amazing stitchwork patterns that I do not, for the life of me, want to not showcase. I want that stitch to show up really well, so that's not going to work for me. But I mean, nothing says I couldn't do like the Ava mesh top. So like I could do a short sleeve shirt.
Oh yeah.
In the marled. So like I need to decide what I want to do.
Got a lot of options.
I do have a lot of options. I'm probably gonna go cardigan. Definitely crochet though, I think. I was liking the idea of a marled crocheted cardigan.
Ooh. All this talk of cardigans is making me want to make one.
Well, I wear cardigans more than I wear sweaters, so it makes no sense for me to make a pullover because I don't wear a lot of pullovers, and I have some pullovers. I'm finally out of things to talk about project-wise.
Okay, that was Woolly Workings.
Aha!
That leaves us with some spinning yarns.
I have spinning yarns. This week, because my niece was grounded, she came downstairs to find something to do. And Auntie Jocelyn has lots of things that don't involve the internet on her plate at all times. And I was like, okay, did you want to do some sewing? And she was like, yeah, maybe. So we were in the crafting room, and she was like, maybe she should do a sewing pattern. She knows how to sew. But then she sat down and started playing with the spinning wheel and wouldn't stop playing with the spinning wheel. So I just pulled up YouTube for her. We showed her a couple of videos, and she spent 15 minutes every day since down here, with my permission, using some of my fiber, figuring out how to spin, how to draft spin on my Ashford traditional. She doesn't want me to help. She watched the videos, and she's not going to lose. She will teach that machine who's boss.
Good.
So she makes excellent rope.
As we all do, but hey, as long as it's cohesive, that's great.
Yeah, we were making very loosely spun. Now we're overspinning, so we're sort of getting the draft in between there figured out. So she does it for 15, 20 minutes every day. She comes down with her phone, and I hear music playing in my craft room, and I look around the corner, and the lights are on, and I hear, listen, fiber. She swears. I don't repeat all the words she uses. You will behave, and you will do as you are told. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like everybody who starts spinning and learning on their own.
Oh yeah.
It's okay, cool. Keeps her occupied, keeps her out of my hair, keeps her out of her mom's hair. I've had to loan out the use of my spinning wheel. That's fine, and I've had to sacrifice a bump of fiber. Also don't care. Totally fine. Totally worth it. If she takes to it and she likes it, that's fine. But it did mean I showed her how to draft, because seeing how to draft on the videos is hard. To show her how to draft, I showed her how to draft in person. So I showed her on my drop spindle. I literally, you know how I pre-break my spinning drafts into small little nuggets? I literally did a nugget. Like there's no progress to show. It's a nugget, you guys. I showed her for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then that's it. She was off to the races. So I did that on some of my ultraviolet fiber from Hillary's Magical Yarnorium. So that was fine. So I don't know what fiber it is I've sacrificed. I saw what color it was, but I don't know the name of it off the top of my head. But it's a lost cause. She's using it as her first project, and she's having fun, so I don't mind in the slightest.
That's good.
Yeah. The more crafting I can teach her before they move out this summer, the better. In my mind, anyway.
Yeah. Well, crafting is probably better than spending all day on the computer anyway.
I got her hooked on books. Next step, hooked on crafting.
Wahaha. One of us.
One of us. We're learning cooking, so we're getting into that too. Not baking. Can't blame her. Her mother's a baker, a professionally trained baker. I don't bake either. Not when I live with a professional baker.
Fair enough.
Yeah, totally good. I've been known to come home with all the ingredients for things and ask her what her surcharge is to have this created, and she usually goes 2 cookies, and I go, cool, I will totally take a batch of cookies with a surcharge of 2 cookies for your stomach.
I mean, only 2 cookies, that's a steal of a deal.
She doesn't ever want more than 2 cookies. She just wants the 2 cookies. And I'm always like, yeah, I'll go buy the rest of it. I'll eat the rest of the cookies. We're also very different shapes, can you tell? No problem. So,
no judgment, my breakfast was cookies this morning.
Mine was the tofu scramble on toasted hamburger buns you saw, because that is the mushiest food in my house right now. But that's it for me in spinning. I was showing the niece how to spin this week.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing some sewing.
Woohoo!
I have a saga of sewing.
I'm all ears.
So last week before, whatever, I got that mask sewing kit from the local fabric store, which I don't think I mentioned their name. They are Spool and Spindle.
Ooh, nice name.
Yeah. I don't know what the physical store looks like, but the online store is really nice. I imagine it's probably pretty cute given the area of the city that it's in.
One of those cute tipster trendy places.
It was in an area where I strongly suspect it's in like a converted house.
Oh, cute.
So, what Wolseley Wool used to be before they moved to their new location.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I sat down to sew some masks today, and I was like, the rectangle shapes would be a more efficient use of material, but I really like how the rounded ones like look and fit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a working printer, so I couldn't print one of the more fitted mask shape patterns. So I'm like, well, they're not very complicated. I'll just draft my own. So I did. And, it actually looks all right. Kind of axe shaped. And so then I cut it out and sewed it together. And sewing on a curve is really, really hard. I
Yep.
had no concept of how tricky it is to sew on a freaking curve.
It's hard.
Bless you.
Yep. It's harder than most people get credit for.
I also forgot to leave myself seam allowance in some places, and I can't sew a nice looking curve. Like, it's all wonky looking and like straight in some places, and then I had like this beak bit sticking out in the middle, so I tried to fix that with some like extra lines of sewing, and like it was just one mess after another. So I got frustrated and I gave up on this fitted mask pattern, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna make one of the rectangular mask patterns, which turns out to be the correct answer, because with the some of the material that I got came in squares and some of it came in long rectangular strips, and the strips are exactly the width that I need for these masks. So hey, I'm gonna do rectangular masks.
Drafting a pattern is harder than people think it is. Sewing on a curve is harder than you think it is.
I have watched so much historical sewing on YouTube, and I've watched them draft patterns, and I'm like, okay, there's some stuff you got to pay attention to, but like it doesn't seem that bad. It's hard.
It's a skill.
Anyway, so I've sewed myself a rectangular mask out of some fashion fabric on the front here.
Yep.
This nice swirly red and dark gray, and on the back, Mr. Diana had some dead pajama pants that had holes in various places, so the pant legs are also conveniently the correct width. So the cotton pajama pants have become linings for masks.
Done.
So that I can make my fashion-y fabric go farther.
That is a really good idea.
So I've actually got a decent looking mask.
That's exciting.
It curves nicely around the front. I had to sew the side seams twice because the first time I didn't gather it down enough and it was like sticking out weirdly on the side, but it actually I'm gonna mute my microphone for a second and put this on because
yep. I mean, I can talk while she's doing that, so that fits really well. So that mask doesn't fit too badly at all, especially for a rectangular mask. It still consumes a lot of your face, but that seems to fit really well. I'm capable of babbling to fill dead air while you adjust yourself. Like that's something I can do just fine.
Yeah, so I'm pretty pleased with how this turned out, and I really like this fabric.
Excellent. I'm really glad. No, it turned out really well.
The only problem with this one is if you put it too high up on your nose, the fabric's a little bit thick. It is really hard to breathe in, so you have to wear it not totally all the way up your nose so that you can actually breathe. So here I can breathe just fine. If I put it half a centimeter higher up, I can't breathe.
It's a very precise placement for that mask?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've also got some nose wires I could use, but I don't know if it actually needs the nose wire. It seems to fit pretty well. So, I don't know. I'll hold off on the nose wires for now.
Okay.
But I'm pretty pleased with how this came out. I have more rectangles cut out with this material, so I'm gonna keep going and keep using this pattern because I like it.
It works. Do it.
Oh, and the other sewing thing I did is I've got thread in my mouth. That's great.
Fiber, thread, that's just where all of your crafting supplies live, I think.
Nah. I finally fixed the elastics on the hand-sewn mask that I made ages ago.
Oh, good.
So it's still mostly hand sewn. I did machine sewing to attach the elastics, and then to keep it folded nicer than it was, I did a line of top stitching with the machine.
Yeah,
But it
that's
is still mostly hand sewn. Anyway, so this one still doesn't fit the best, but it fits all right. Like
it'll do in a pinch.
it'll do. This material is easier to breathe in though, so it has that going for it.
That's fair.
I think I like how the other one's folded better than this one. Like, I don't know, this one's got like a weird mouth thing going on. It's all right. It's not my favorite fold. I like the tri-fold accordion thing going on better, I think. Anyway, that's my sewing. Wool gathering. The next Patreon knit-in hangout is on June the 20th, which is weekend after next.
Oh my goodness, it is. That's coming up quick.
Yeah, so next weekend is Mr. Diana's birthday, and then the weekend after is the Patreon hangout.
Whew, beautiful.
Oh, this chair is not the most comfortable thing.
I'm sitting in a camp chair.
I've got Chris's space chair because it doesn't show up behind me, and it's like really ergonomic, but I don't normally sit in it for as long as I've been sitting in it. I normally get up every like 20 or 30 minutes and just have a stretch for a minute. There's a lot of sitting in one place.
My computer chair makes noises, so I moved to a chair that doesn't make noises.
Makes sense.
It's that big square one I got from Costco.
Yeah.
It's the serious camping chair because it's got a heck of a strong back to it, which is beautiful because you can lean on it. I take this thing and it's a pain in the butt to travel with. It is not one of those compactable little It's a beefy rectangular camping chair. It's a pain in the butt to carry. I carry it with me everywhere because I set this thing up with and I've got a big cooler on wheels. Like Diana can tell you, traveling with me to the picnic is not the easiest thing. So I travel with like an oversized chair, oversized cooler. Do you know what? Our food is never warm. It's always safe. It's always chilled. Our drinks stay cold, and I can sit in this chair for hours in the shade with my hair up, crocheting, knitting, and chatting, and I'm happy because it's the right height.
It's very important.
Very important. You've got your rocking chair, so
I do love that rocking chair.
I am so happy that showed up and we were able to get that for you. So happy. All right. With the wool gathering done, now we're on to books.
Yes, now we're on to books.
Books is the last segment. All right, Diana, I'm assuming you're still working through the one book you were working through last week?
Yes.
Cool. I finished Selkies Are a Girl's Best Friend by Molly Hooper? Molly something. It's the last of the Mystic Bayou trilogy. I've been talking about it for the last 3 weeks now. So that is well done and good. I enjoyed each one of the books. I thought it was very delightful. And then I decided for fun I needed to do something that wasn't romancy. So I listened to the Amazon original production of Emma by Jane Austen. And it's got a cast production to it. So it's more like a radio play than a narrated book, which was delightful to listen to this week.
So good. Yeah. You should listen to more of those.
I know. I'm like, these keep climbing up the list because I gotta do that more often. So I did that this week and thoroughly enjoyed myself. Was I challenging myself to read something outside of my realm of normal? Nope. Not even close. That's okay.
All right. This week I have properly started listening to Girl Wash Your Face, which is the audiobook hold that came up on my library app, and I was like, I put this on hold like 6 months ago and I don't remember why I wanted to read it. I think it was just like trending or really popular 6 or whatever months ago when I put it on hold.
Possible. What's it about?
It is essentially a self-help book, but it's written for women by a woman.
Okay.
Which is different from every other self-help book I've ever read because it's been by a man that definitely doesn't isn't the primary caregiver or possibly doesn't have children at all whatsoever, and just there's some things that's like they're like, yeah, just be like this, and you're like, that doesn't work for women.
Says
So
a
this
woman who has no children.
it's things like, well, you just approach this social situation like this. I'm like, no, if you're a woman and you approach the social situation like that, you get labeled a very impolite word, and that doesn't work for women. But this one is more, it's structured around lies the author has told herself and like believed about herself about not being good enough or just not being enough, and then how she came to realize that that was a lie and how she got over believing that lie. And so it's just a lot of like, yes, I do all this crazy stuff within my life, but also like, I peed my pants last week, let me tell you about that. And so like, as much as I seem like I have it all together, I don't have it all together. And so when you don't have it all together, like, don't worry about it, nobody's got it all together. And it's just a lot of stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, it's not like the kind of self-help book that I don't want to sound like really pretentious saying like I don't need the self-help book for myself, but it's not that I picked it up because I felt like I needed to read it for myself, but it's just really fascinating reading a self-help book that's actually intended to be read by women. It is different, and it's just really interesting, and I'm not being very eloquent about how interesting this is.
I was just listening before we started recording to the Ologies podcast about decluttering.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that was really quite fun to listen to people talk about things, and being honest, if you need a professional to help you, that's fine. It's totally okay. It's legit to require help for things. And my favorite ologist she's had on was the guy who talked about procrastinating. He's the one who said that everybody procrastinates, not everyone is a procrastinator.
Right. Oh, yeah. That
He's
distinction. Yeah, that was a fascinating distinction.
Yeah, he's a psychologist, a clinical psychologist. So he's studying the science of like the mental complications that go with hoarding and cluttering. And he did the same sort of thing. He's like, everybody has hoarding tendencies, not everybody's a hoarder. And where they're designating the hoarding illness on the OCD spectrum, and what the clinical definitions between the two of them are. And I'm like, that's fascinating to me. No, everybody's like, but everybody collects things in their closet, in their kitchen, and books. We're all bad for those things.
Mm-hmm.
I might be reading some organizational books. I don't need them. Guys, I really don't have a lot of stuff, and I keep getting rid of it. Every time Dino turns around, I'm getting rid of more things.
Yeah, that's true. What's your dining table full of this week to get rid of?
It is books that I have to put up on Amazon. So I've got them organized by author, by set, so by published series, and now I just need to sit down and put them up on Amazon. So I was about halfway through when I had to clear off my dining room table because Mr. B came over to play board games and Magic. So they're slowly making their way off the coffee table back onto the kitchen table, so I deal with them.
Right.
And then I've got half of my closet purged again. Those clothes keep disappearing. They're draped on the edge of my couch to be folded up for donation, and my niece keeps rifling through them and finding things she likes. And she knows once they're on that ledge of the couch, and she goes, hey, is this for donation? If I say yes, she's free to go through it, and if she likes something, she takes it. She's claimed 2 cocoon cardigans I don't wear anymore. I don't think she's left one 4 days. I think she's been wearing it straight. So she'll use it. I don't, so we move on. But it's going to be a lot of stuff. It's the same with like the crafting, like going through all my scraps and stuff. Like a lot of my scraps are hitting the recycling bin, or they're being donated to art classes in the fall for teachers, because I'm not keeping it. I've been talking with my cousin who's a teacher. He teaches the younger grades. He voluntarily teaches young children. That's who he prefers to teach, or like kindergarten through like grade 6 students. Like he likes doing early education.
Can we get a sainthood over here?
Can I please page for a sainthood? Because that man, anybody who is willing to teach grade 6 and younger, hats off to you. You are a god. I could not do it. They are a lot of energy. It's a lot of kitten herding. It's a lot of stuff that I would just physically drain me so much. I would be miserable doing it. So I am absolutely blessed to know people who want to do that for a living. But he does like math and English and stuff, or math and history. But he knows art teachers at that grade level. So like donating my scraps so kids can make art projects with. Yeah. I donated my entire National Geographic collection to my high school when I graduated. I'd been getting it every month for 4 years from my grandparents for my Christmas gift every year. And I continued to get it well into my early 20s. And then I just donated it to my high school to go to the art department so that they could make collages in art classes. Why wouldn't I? That's what happens to my stuff, guys. I donate it where it could be of use. So I've got something like 6 bins sitting at the bottom of the stairs right now, ready to go over the last few months.
Nice.
And more's got to go.
Is making me want to purge stuff. But like I just purged everything as I was packing. I have nothing to purge.
It feels so good to let things go when you don't need them anymore. It feels so good. I do like the 1 in, 1 out rule. I don't put it down everywhere in my life, so I don't put it down on my crafting or hobbies. Like I pick one freebie, like one section where I'm not going to monitor myself. That's my guilty pleasure section. Go figure, it's yarn and fiber for me, guys. But my clothing closet, if one comes in, one goes out. Kitchen stuff, one comes in, one goes out. So
I don't monitor that closely, but it's like when you can't find a home for the new thing, then some old stuff needs to go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's kind of my rule.
That's how you end up designing D&D DM chests for your niece with your father for all of your DM supplies so they can go to her for Christmas this year. Hello. So, totally way off topic, but we were talking books, and that's how we got there.
Yeah.
But we're done talking books now, so we're good.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to read this week. I haven't looked. I've got a couple of other books in the queue, so. I've been watching TV. I finished Enterprise Season 4. Queer Eye Season 5 came out, which is why the Summer Night Cardigan is not done today, because I can't help it. When those boys are on the screen, I am watching them. I am not crafting. I watch them. It is heartwarming and endearing, and you just see these people, and you're like, oh, yes, we're going to get behind you and in your corner because you are an amazing human being. They just gift hugs and good vibes, and they're delightfully crazy gay men running around making people feel better. And I'm just like, yes, thank you.
Okay, I gotta watch this.
TV.
I gotta watch some of
this. Have a box of Kleenex beside you because you get so wrapped up in the emotion of things going on, and you're just like, oh God, so many feels. Just take my heart. It's fine. Here you go. I'm just gonna pull it out of my chest. I don't need it anymore. It's not helping me. Here you go. And you want to help out, you're just like, okay, where can I donate? Who can I go help? Who can I get uplifted, inspire? Let's be one of them people. Let's go. And then you realize it's a pandemic and you should stay home because you have bad lungs. You're not supposed to be going out right now. So you bake cookies instead.
Seems like an all right alternative.
I feel like it's okay. As for banana bread, because that's also mushy. My face really hurts. But that's it. I've been doing a lot of TV. Like last month was an intense reading month, so I feel like I'm rebelling a little. Watching some TV and catching up on podcasts, like catching up on the Cozy Up Knits, because they've got a sweater cardigan coming out shortly that I really want the pattern for. And then watching Amy of the Stranded Dye Works podcast, who I really enjoy. Watching the Knit Girls, because they're always a good one to enjoy. So it's just catching up, watching the corner of Knit and Tea. A lot, and there's more, guys. There's like a million more. There's food YouTubers I follow, booktubers I follow. That just lots of catching up, lots of book recommendations and stuff. Just tons going on. But I had fallen behind on all of it. Same with my listening podcast. So there's a new Hardcore Histories out.
You just got all the stuff.
There goes 6 hours of my life this week.
Chris and I started watching a show called Devs this week.
Okay.
And it's like a tech show, and they're programmers and stuff, and programming a big fancy computer to do mysterious things. But the way it's shot and presented, it's all very artistic and philosophical, and I really like this way of presenting tech as an artsy philosophical thing rather than like sci-fi.
Oh, that'd be very interesting. It's
Yeah.
definitely a different take. Are you guys still making your way through Enterprise?
We've been distracted by devs right now, but yes, we're gonna go back to Enterprise after.
You'll have to tell me what you think of this series finale. So, like the last episode.
Will do.
Me
I
and
mean, we're like a quarter of the way through season 1 right now, so it'll take a while.
Me and Mr. B have very different thoughts and views
Okay.
on the series finale. Also, Shran is my favorite.
I don't think I know who that is yet.
You will meet Shran eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, that just tells you one of the characters I like. And it's not on the main cast and crew. Go figure, it's a side character like I normally bond to. Whatever, it's fine. All right, I suppose that's it. We've babbled really long.
Yep.
Oh my. All right. Thanks for settling in for a marathon, you guys. We're no grocery girls. We're not over 2 hours each time we record, but we get up there sometimes.
Have fun with the editing.
Thank you. I'll say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
No matter where your week takes you,
Don't forget to knit.
Ta-da!